7 steps to become a notary signing agent in 2024. Welcome back to the channel. So happy that you're here. And if you are thinking about getting in the notary game, or you are just starting and you want some tips to help grow your business from the start, stay tuned. We have a lot of different things to cover. Now, 7 different tips as well as 3 bonuses at the end to help scale your business. So if you haven't been to the channel, we talk all things notary signing agent, starting, building, growing, scaling your business, your signing service business. If you want to go that route, I love to talk about that because I'm a signing service owner as well. So if you love that content, feel free to subscribe to the channel so we continue to make more tailored to you so you can make more money. This channel is dedicated to help you navigate through all that. So without any further delay, let's get to it. So step number 1, do your research. So what do I mean? Jump on YouTube and find notary trainers that have a lot of free content on YouTube. Do your research to see if it's something that makes sense for you. There's so many out there. If you look on YouTube, just type in the notary search or in the search bar on YouTube, notary trainers, notary business, starting a notary business, and you're going to see a whole bunch of people. If it was me, I would point you in the direction of Mark Wills, who's my mentor. He has a ton of great free content as well as inspiring content, so you can get an idea of what the business is all about. You could check out many others, but I always steer you to Mark. So do your research and find out, is this a business you even want to pursue? Talk with people, if you can, that have been in this business. Another place to get free research information is to join a Facebook group for notaries specifically. Now, caution, if you join Facebook groups, as you know, they can be quite negative, just like any business Facebook group, because it's always the 80-20 rule. 80% of people are not willing to do what it takes to be successful, and only the 20% are eating real good. It's the same thing when you go in these groups. A lot of it, anything goes. So where there can be negativity, there will be negativity. And that's not a place I like to be or spend any time around, because I don't want negativity in my life and filling up my glass and dirtying my glass. So I would steer you towards, if you're in the DMV area, which is Maryland, Virginia, Washington, DC, I run a Facebook group. It's over 3,300 people, DMV Loan Signing System Success Group. If you have, no matter where you are in the country, there are different ambassador, LSS Facebook groups that you can join, but either way, join a group, see what it's all about. Number 2, I suggest you get training, either a coach, a mentor, or both. Personally, again, I'm going to steer you to Mark Wills because his course is the best $500 I ever spent in my life in 2020. If you're interested in checking out what he has to offer in the loan signing system course, I'll leave an affiliate link in the description below. Feel free to check that out. And I would suggest anyone go to the NNA for that, because to be a great notary signing agent, you have to be a great notary. You have to know what you can and can't do, what your main role is, what you can't say, what you can say. So that's important. The most successful people on earth annually, every single year, have mentors and coaches, because they understand they don't know what they don't know, and their time is their most valuable resource, and they spend a ton of money, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars every year to have coaches and mentors train them on the things that they know they are weak at, their blind spots. So I would strongly suggest getting training. Whoever vibes with you well. It doesn't have to be Mark's course, but if you want to, the link's there. Now, next, number 3, commission and licensing. So you want to get your notary commission for your state. Now, your state is going to have their own specific rules. So you want to go to the Secretary of State for Maryland or Secretary of State for Kansas or whatever state you're in, and it should outline exactly what you have to do to become a notary and get your commission as well. So check with your state Secretary of State website to know the exact details, but you got to get your notary commission before you can be a signing agent. Of course, that is number 1. Number 2, licensing. There are 3 states. So 47 states, if you're listening to this, you can ignore. But if you're in these 3 states, you do have to get one additional piece of licensing before you can be a notary signing agent. So the 3 states are Minnesota, Indiana, and Maryland, where I'm from. So if you're in Maryland or Indiana, both of those states require a title producer license in order to conduct a notary or a loan signing. So in order to conduct a closing where owner's title insurance or title insurance could be purchased, you have to have an extensive knowledge of title insurance. So they require, in Maryland and Indiana, we have a title producer license, so we know more about it. Okay, great. It's kind of an extra hurdle. It is what it is. You have to do it to pay to play. You have to do it. And also Minnesota. Minnesota, they don't have the title producer license requirement. They have their own separate closing license. And I'm not from Minnesota, so I can't speak to it. I just know it exists and it is a thing and it is a requirement. So if you're in Minnesota, dig into that, into your local Facebook groups and your local Secretary of State and find out what additional things you need to do to get that license so you can start doing notary signing agent appointments. Fantastic. Number 4, supplies. Okay, this part's going to hurt because it's going to cost you a little bit of money because, just like any business, there are startup costs. And this is where most of the fees are going to be accumulated. So there are things like your errors and omissions insurance that are required by signing services and by title companies, because if you lose a check that you're supposed to handle at the table, or you lose documents, which causes a delay in funding, and maybe the borrower has to spend thousands of dollars to relock in their interest rate because of the delayed closing and the deadline is passed. Or again, you lose a check, whatever it is, maybe the sellers are, they have to rent a hotel. They can't move into the new house, or the buyers have to do that. So in other words, there could be costs. So the title companies and signing services want you to have an errors and omissions insurance policy in place for notarial acts or signing agent acts if you're handling money, to make sure to protect themselves. That way they can use your policy if you screw up. Because I'll tell you why, as a signing service owner, we have a very large policy that picks up where our individual agent's policy leaves off from a dollar amount. So if they screw up, their policy kicks in, and then we pick up the rest beyond what theirs doesn't cover. Same thing with title companies, because they have a lot of people working for them. Errors and omission insurance and a notary bond. So some states will require that you get a bond, not all states, but some will require a bond, and that's usually a surety bond protecting the general public from unscrupulous notaries that somehow get their commission and fly under the radar and do things they shouldn't do. That bond would come in place. Like if you rip off someone, the bond would basically allow the public, someone in the public that you screwed over, to basically get recoup up to $10,000 or whatever the state minimum is for that bond, but it's to protect the general public from a bad notary. So some states will require that you have a surety bond. Again, that information is on your Secretary of State website. Next, you're gonna need a printer, right? You're gonna need preferably a dual tray. It doesn't have to be dual tray, but dual tray printer, and it's gonna be an inkjet printer. So you're gonna have to buy toner for the printer as well. Now, what I would suggest, the one behind me right there is a Brother 5200 dual tray printer, or the one right next to me, you can't see off camera, is almost the same thing. It's a Brother 6200 DWT. Next, you're gonna need toner, of course, inside of that, to go on the paper. After that, you're gonna need paper, of course. You're gonna need letter and legal paper. Now, with legal paper, you're not gonna use this anywhere near as much as you will letter. So on an average packet, if it's 150 pages, 130 of them are letter and 20 of those pages are on legal. So the ratio is very heavily skewed to letter. So when you go to buy paper, if you're gonna go gung-ho and buy more paper at a bulk rate, that's fine. Buy a lot of letter paper. You do not need a lot of legal paper. Next, you're gonna need general office supplies. So that's gonna be sticky notes, paper clips, blue ink pens, because most of these packets need to be signed in blue ink. A couple of them will be black ink, a couple exceptions with Bank of America, HELOCs here and there, but generally 99% of the time it's blue ink. You're gonna need a notary bag to carry this stuff, like this bag right here, right there. Obviously you're gonna need notary stamps, right? And you're gonna need at least 2 for your state. And then you're also gonna need, ideally, just some ink so you can refill the ink pad and the stamp. And that way, as it gets low, you can pop out the cartridge, put a few drops of ink in there, spread it around both sides, and it's reversible, which is nice. So if one starts to get light while you're out in the field, you can just turn it and go to the other side and keep it moving. And then a notary journal. Most states, not all, but most of them require you have a notary journal. If you are in a state that you're not required to have a notary journal, for me, I personally would still want one for my peace of mind, for my record, so that in case someone subpoenas me because maybe I was involved in a fraudulent transaction, I would have a record of that transaction and their ID and what documents I notarized for them. There would be a paper trail. I personally prefer to use an electronic notary journal. All that's already in there. So the electronic journal I use, but I love and I've used since I started, is NotaryAct.com. And that electronic journal, I believe, is available and approved in like 44 or 50 states. Last time I looked, it was a couple years ago. So most states allow it. So that would be my suggestion. If that isn't allowed, I'm sure there are others, but that would be my suggestion because I've used it, love it. With that journal, it will actually scan the barcode on the ID that they're giving you, the government ID, the passport, or the driver's license, and it'll import import all that data. So instead of you typing in this person's name, this person's address, all that will be imported in there with a one scan of your phone and the barcode. And obviously, if it's a fake ID and it scans the barcode, it's either not going to read it or it's going to import data that isn't the signer, so you know it's a fake ID. So again, incredibly valuable tool. The rest of the supplies I just mentioned, my suggestion would be to save a ton of money by going to staplesadvantage.com. Mark Willis has actually negotiated with Staples a massive discount for notary signing agents, and I'll link that in the description below. And the scanner, I forgot to mention, obviously mobile scanner, critical in this industry. A lot of title companies and lenders will require you scan the documents so they can fund when they can fund off good legible scans. So having a good mobile scanner is critical, that you can literally take into the appointment at their house or at the realtor's office, or if you have a mobile office, you can plug it in your car like I do and scan the documents in high quality very quickly. Mobile scanner, so critical in this business. Definitely want to get one for sure. Number 5 is set up your Google My Business profile and a website. Now, the website is not mandatory. The Google My Business profile to me is mandatory, and here is why. It is an incredible lead magnet to get you business coming your way for free. It literally just takes you a little bit of time to set up. So Google My Business profile, what is that? I will link a screenshot here shortly, but I typed in notary near me in Google because that's where most of your clients will go if they're trying to look for a notary near them. They'll type in some phrase similar to that, and you want to see in your area, when you type that in, is your business going to rank? Because what will happen if you look at the screenshot is when you type in notary near me in my area, my business, Superlative Signings, pops up organically ranked as number 1. And even though I have maybe on this screenshot 100, 5-star reviews, and the person that pops up below me, number 2 and 3, number 2 actually has way more reviews than I do, but I'm ranking number 1. And the reason that is because number 1, I have a Google My Business profile. I have a ton of reviews and it is optimized. So in that Google My Business profile, there are a lot of keywords that are relevant to what I do. So if you're focusing on general notary work, in the keywords, you want to put different things like I do power of attorneys and estate planning documents and wills and loan signing documents and whatever it is your specialty you're trying to cover, put those keywords in there. So when people go to Google and type in need power of attorney notarized, that keyword will help you rank higher organically. Then besides that, I also have social media posts on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube and videos for Superlative Signings. So when Google scrapes the internet, when it says notary, someone types in notary near me and they see Superlative Signings 12 different places, and they see my competitor who's number 2 places, they think I'm the more legit business, so they rank me number 1. So number 1, having the website helps as well, especially if you have those keywords in there. And you're gonna have way more rankings if you also have social media posts, entries on your Google My Business profile, posts, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. The more places you are, the better Google will rank you. Next, number 6, sign up with signing services and signing platforms. Now, we'll start with the platforms. The 3 main platforms you definitely want to sign up with and create a profile on would be number 1, Signing Order, number 2, SnapDocs, and number 3, Notary Dash. Now, when you go to these platforms, you're going to create a profile, which includes a professional photo. Do not put something that isn't your photo. Most people want to see your photo before they decide to hire you. So make sure it's a professional photo or a photo with your iPhone or Samsung with a clean background and you're wearing professional clothes. Do not wear informal clothes, they won't hire you. Your bio is going to be on your profile as well. Talk about the benefits you're providing to the clients, not about how you're awesome, but how you're going to take great care of their clients. You're going to have fees in there you can set. Don't put crazy high fees. And obviously you're going to upload your credentials like your commission or your title producer license, your background check, your errors and omissions policy. You'll upload all of that. And then signing services like myself that use Signing Order, for example, to find notaries. When I have jobs available every day, I send texts or calls or emails out to notaries. Hey, are you available? This signing at this time, because I can see their profile, I can see they're in the area based on their zip code, and I send them work. So that's why you got to be on these three platforms for sure. I do have an extensive video on how to optimize your notary profile to get hired faster, and also tips and tricks inside of that to get on the preferred list. Very detailed video. I'll link that here as well, so you can check that out at another time, but that will help you optimize your profile when it's time to start creating that profile. Next, you want to get onto signing service individual lists. You want to reach out and sign up with them, or reach out and touch base with them and let them know you're available, and you would be a great fit to work together because you're going to take amazing care of their clients. Now, where can you find a massive list of signing services to sign up with and introduce yourself? A couple of different places. Number 1, if you're in the Loan Signing System course, there is a massive list of like 300 signing services that's updated constantly. So you have the contact info, notes about them, how often they pay, what do they pay, etc., who to contact. So if you're in the course, fantastic. That is a free resource for you. If you're not, no worries. You can also go to notaryrotary.com, create a free profile, and then once you're logged in, you can click on the companies button and it will list it alphabetically from A to Z. So you can go that way, and you can sort it by companies that way as well. And those companies are actually ranked 1 star to 5 stars from notaries. You can go to the Facebook group. It's called Deadbeat, all one word, Deadbeat Signing Companies 2.0. Deadbeat Signing Companies 2.0 Facebook group. You have to be a notary to get in that group. And again, so when you're signing up, you can just search in that group. And if you don't see anything about that company, you're good to go. If you do see something about that company, read the comments, but it's probably not a good sign. If you see a lot of things about that company, they're probably going to be negative and you probably want to steer clear. Next, the 7th and final step, network and marketing. Okay, so for me, I'm more introverted, at least when I started this journey. So I preferred marketing direct to title companies, which does require the skill that I learned slowly over time to market. And networking is not really my deal. Now, if you're an extroverted person, you're a really good people person and you love talking, then networking is probably your biggest return on investments from a time perspective, because a networking event where there's many different title company or realtor or lender or mortgage professional folks in one area that you can potentially touch and network to and let them know you're available in a very short amount of time, that's a high leverage place you want to be, because in 2 hours you can meet 20 to 30 people potentially. Like, that's a great return on your time because you only went to one place versus going to 20 or 30 different title offices to meet 20 or 30 different people. It's going to take a lot more of your time. But for me, I prefer title companies. I have a ton of videos on how to market direct to title companies. Again, I'll link that my direct marketing title companies video here. Check that out when you're ready to start marketing direct. Very detailed and gives you my play-by-play of what has worked for me to get hundreds of title companies to work with us over the years. That's it. Bonus time. So the 3 bonuses I'm going to let you know about are accounting, email marketing, and remote online notarization. So number 1, the accounting piece. If you're going to be doing this even as a side hustle, it's a business. You need to have accounting procedures and practices in place. So my suggestion would be use a platform specifically for notaries and accounting for notaries, there's 2 of them that come to mind. One is Notary Gadget, which I have used and I love, and Notary Assist, which I've heard good things about. They're very similar and comparable. Check them both out, see which one you like. I think they both have free trials. Try them both out, see which one you like, pick one. That way you're tracking all of your clients initially when you're getting signed up with all these signing services and they're sending you appointments and you're taking appointments for signing services that are new to you. You want to put notes in there like they pay net 30, meaning they pay in 30 business days or 30 calendar days rather, or this is a scheduler I talk to, or they require invoices or they don't require invoices. So you can put notes about the clients that you're doing business with, number 1. Number 2, you could track all of your appointments in there on your calendar and it will link to your Google Calendar, which is fantastic. Number 3, you can track all of your business expenses there. So you can enter them. You can enter the receipts in there as well. You can track your business mileage. I prefer mileage tracking on an app like Mile IQ. That way it tracks me all my drives and I literally just swipe left for personal drives or swipe right for business drives and I get a monthly report. Next, CRM. So what is a CRM? Which is, if you don't know, is Customer Relationship Manager. And a customer relationship manager is a great place to keep track of your contacts. So while Notary Gadget and Notary Assist will keep track of your initial clients that you're doing business with, as you're going out and networking and marketing and getting business cards and meeting new people and getting new contacts and email marketing to them on a weekly basis initially and following up weekly on a cadence, you're sending these emails, you can copy and paste for a little bit, but once you start having to send on a weekly basis 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 plus emails, you're wasting way too much time manually doing this. So a CRM will let you buy back your time for $80 a month, and you can buy back your time and send bulk emails that are individualized, so they won't see a BCC when you're sending the email. It'll look like an individual personalized email to them, and you can send it in minutes versus hours. So for example, every week on Monday, I send a happy Monday morning email to my clients, and it's about 350 some emails I'm sending. And then same thing on Tuesday, I send about 350 plus emails to prospects I'm trying to convert to clients. So I send on a weekly basis, at the minimum, 700 to 1,000 emails a week, and it doesn't take me more than 20, 30 minutes tops to do it. Most of my time is just spent crafting the individual email template that I'm trying to send to the prospects, to be creative and trying to get them to open the email and engage and those kind of things. That's where your time should be spent, on the creative side, not the manually sending all these emails. So you're going to need that over time as you get more contacts. Also in the CRM, as you're entering the contacts, there are plenty of spots for notes. So where you met them, everything you know about them. So when you go to remarket to them, you're not going to remember what you talked about 3 weeks ago for half an hour or 10 minutes or whatever, but that's what the CRM CRM is for. It has all those notes in there. So you can be like, oh, this person loves this sports team and they have 2 kids and they are a realtor that specializes in investors in this county in Maryland. And like all these things you're never going to remember. That's what the CRM is for. So when you go to remarket to people, you can kind of pick up where you left off in the conversation and you have those references. It's a powerful tool to help you keep track of everyone. No one slips through the crack, and you can follow up on a weekly basis, both with your existing clients to let them know you're available. So you always stay top of mind, and on your prospects, same reason to stay top of mind. So last bonus is RON. If you don't know what RON is, it stands for Remote Online Notarization. Remote Online Notarization is where you're going to virtually conduct this meeting. So I will get the documents from the title company. I'll upload them on the RON platform. I will tag all the documents where the signers have to sign a date or check a box or fill in a box, and I will tag the notary certificate. So what will happen is once I tag the documents, I'll send the signers, each of them on each of their individual emails, a invitation to that meeting on Thursday at 10 a.m. for the seller pre-sign, and with instructions that says, here's what you're going to do step by step. That way they have an idea what's going on. Then that morning at 10 a.m., what they're going to do is they're going to open the link, the email I sent them, to start the signing process. And they'll go through an ID process where they will upload or take a live photo of the front and back of their driver's license or their passport. And after that, if they're a U.S. citizen, they probably will be asked 5 KBA questions pulled from their credit history. An example would be in 2006, which one of these 5 cars did you own? And it'll have 5 different cars, multiple choice, you pick one. So they'll have 5 questions like that pulled from their credit history, and they'll have to answer 4 of those 5 correct to pass the final part of the ID process. Once they pass those 5 questions, they'll be connected with me live, think Zoom, where we can see each other on the screen, and I'll walk them through each document. So they can see the documents, I can see the documents, and we're starting on page 1. We go through each one, and at the bottom, I'll let them know, great, no questions, perfect. Sign and date here, and on their side, they see the spot where they double click like DocuSign to sign. They can pick a signature they like the look of, and then they'll click on the date box and it will date. And then the documents that require notarization, when they've signed and dated, I will go on the certificate and click on the state of, the county of, I'll e-sign it, e-stamp it, put my certificate seal on it, and that way we go on. They can literally do it from their cell phone, depending on the platform, or a laptop, an iPad, a desktop. It can be different places as well. So very flexible tool that title companies are using. Now, as a notary, you're just getting started. So a good analogy for trying to become a RON notary as you're beginning your notary journal is imagine trying to ride a bike and for the first time, and then trying to do a wheelie. So just imagine trying to do a wheelie, but you've never ridden a bike. It is pretty much impossible because you're barely able to even maintain your balance on a bike. Think about the first time you rode a bike. You were wobbly as crap. You're not popping a wheelie. So to me, my suggestion would be, yes, you should use RON in certain instances to offer another value add to your clients. But here's what I would suggest. Get 10 to 40 closings under your belt first. So get to the point where you can do a closing, and it's going to be different for everyone, like what that number is, but where you're comfortable walking people through the documents. You have your process, you have your intro script, and you come in and you introduce yourself, you go through the documents, how to sign a date, and you're very comfortable with that process. You're doing closings in, an hour or less, preferably 45 or 30 minutes, closer to that point. Then I would suggest add RON to your tool belt as another value add. And we'll make a separate video later on RON platforms, but it is a great valuable add. The most profitable RON is when you're bringing the client to the platform versus the platform is bringing it to you, because you're bringing the thing of value, which is the client. So you're going to keep most of the money. So separate video for a separate time, but I would suggest get started with in-person first, get comfortable. And then when you're comfortable, whatever that number is for you, then look into RON. And if you already are a member of Loan Signing System, there's an amazing RON course in the Complete Notary Mentorship section, which outlines all the different platforms, what the fees are, what the transaction fees are, monthly fees are, if there are any, whether they're you bring the client, they bring the client, or what they call a hybrid platform where you can kind of do both, whether it's an invite-only platform. So very detailed. We'll cover that in separate videos, but RON, very powerful when you're bringing the client to the platform because you're keeping most of the money. It's a great value add, but start with in-person first, get comfortable, and then add RON as another value add, another tool in your tool belt. Okay, I appreciate you sticking with me. I hope I have dropped tremendous amount of value. My goal is that you take all this information and you start your loan signing, notary signing agent business. That way you can start making money on the side and eventually go from part-time to full-time, which would be amazing. And I also have a separate video on going part-time to full-time. So when you get there and you're ready to be like, you know what, I want to quit my 9-to-5 and scale this thing out to full-time, I'll link that video right here. So we have tons of content, as you can see, for notary signing agents starting, growing, scaling your business. If this was valuable to you at all, please It would mean a ton to me to subscribe to the channel so we can continue to make more content, so we can help you grow your business, because I was new and I appreciated everyone that taught me as I was growing, because there's so much to this business. So it just warms my heart to be able to give back to the community. So I do monthly trainings on Zoom and in person in the DMV. If you're in our Facebook group, you'll see those. I do those absolutely for free. And I do this for love of the game as well, just to share, because I agree that once you get to a certain point of success in whatever business you're in, it's our duty to look back and pass that knowledge on. And I think everyone should do that. And if we all did that, the world would be a better place. So if you've enjoyed the content, please subscribe. I appreciate you watching this video. Go out, start your notary signing agent journey today. I know you will crush it. Till next time, thank you so much and peace.